Hello everyone, welcome back from our intermission. Freaky Top Hat here. Welcome back to SHARCOM 2022. Thank you everyone for being here. We all appreciate you. We now have Ford Mustang with Viper yet again. Gonna be good. Estimated 40 minutes.
Yep.
Please
Pretty
feel...
much.
Sorry.
No, go.
Please feel free if anyone feels like they want to donate. We all appreciate it. Bits, subs. We do have a donation link at the bottom if you feel interested. All money goes to save the children. And we all really appreciate it. It's why we all here. Anyways, if you're ready, do let us know. We can get this underway.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, hello everybody. Just to quickly run through a few things. I'm Viper. I was here doing the last one about 2 minutes ago. But if you've seen me for the first time, hello. I'm known as Viper UK, Viper Races, or just Viper. Viper is usually the easiest way, everyone remembers it. Welcome to Ford Mustang The Legend Lives, a racing game that was released back in 2005. It was released on the original Xbox and the PlayStation 2. This is the original Xbox version running on an Xbox 360. This is the career mode, or any percent, call it whatever. The actual category name is career mode. But yeah, so we are going to be using the Ford Mustang GTR, which is a orange car with like a black bonnet and everything. It's a GTR concept actually. Altogether, we have, I believe it is 13 races that we need to do. And yeah, we've even got a few races that are endurance for about 5 laps. So we're all ready to go on time. I'll give you a countdown, I suppose. So are we all ready? Seems so.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, cool. I'll give you a countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so this was on the original Xbox back in 2005. As I said, this is being run on the Xbox 360. Now, it's worth mentioning a few bits. So, first of all, as you can see, fairly straightforward racing game. Now, a couple of things to mention straight away. Why pick the Ford Mustang GTR, or the concept? So the reason why we're going to pick this is because this is the fastest car in the game, so the rules don't state anything about what car you can use. So we are going to be using the fastest one available. Makes sense, doesn't it? So all these races should be relatively straightforward. What is my PB? So my PB is a 3658, which was done quite a while ago, actually, if I remember correctly. So yeah, we're going to be using this car here. A couple of things to mention. First and foremost, Ford Mustang The Legend Lives. What is it? It was, like I said, a racing game released back in 2005. It's part of the Ford Racing series. It has a wide variety of Ford Mustangs, hence the reason for its name. And has 2 different sides to the career mode. There is amateur and a professional. We're going to be doing, because the career mode mainly involves just the amateur side, we're going to be doing just the amateur. Now you may be aware, or you may see at times, that there is a point system on hand. So if I power slide like that, you see that I gain points for it, etc. These points are what you use to rank up in the game and to make it as easy as possible. More points you earn, the more cars you can unlock and things like that. There's no upgrading in this game either, so it's like if you end up gaining like loads of points, then obviously you just want to make sure that you're not doing anything else. Also, we're gonna, after every race, we have to make sure that we don't watch the replay and that we don't save, or it'll save automatically that we don't refresh. So altogether we have a couple of tracks. So we have Long Beach, San Francisco, New York City, New Orleans, Miami, Chicago, Los Angeles, and amongst others. So you'll see, straight and foremost, like we're not really going to see much of the AI opponents. Now bear in mind, so because this is on the Xbox 360, you do get a little bit of slowdown. so there's not like too much in terms of what what there is to do. If you hit a wall, by the way, you gain points for doing like skills like drifting and near misses and everything. If you accidentally hit a wall, so you get something like that, and now say I hit a wall, I lose points. So it's all about it's a bit like Burnout, risk and reward sort of thing. Obviously, no surprise, we are playing with the manual gears. So we're going to try and make sure that driving is not too bad. I would play with automatic, but honestly, it just manual feels better. I know that in some games like Shard, there is no gearbox. So also, I see we have a sub goal, which is that if I get a PB, someone will drop a sub. I will try. I don't really try and aim to get PBs in marathons, but if it happens, it happens. That's what I will say. The music as well in this game is quite varied. It's very punk rock, I want to say. That sort of stuff. More rock than punk rock, to be honest. It's not Blink-182 by any stretch, but yeah, a lot of the races are fairly straightforward. There is other game modes in here, by the way. So there's a time trial mode and there's a slalom mode as well. There are individual speedruns for those categories as well, and there's also a category which is specifically for doing 100%, which is around 3 hours. It's not too bad. It's around about 3 hours-ish, just short of 3 hours. Basically, you're pretty much trying to work up to get this car, and then go from there. So, obviously, what we're going to try and do is we're obviously just doing the races and everything. But when you do like the 100%, for example, you progress through the you progress through the career mode, get the GTR, and then you just use GTR for everything else. The time trial actually pits you in certain cars, so you've not like got a chance to do anything else. So yeah, there you go. So not too bad. Yep, there we go. Okay, so we've done San Francisco. We now move on to New York City. There we go. So these tracks, a lot of them aren't like that complicated. There are actually a few that we're going to do wall riding on, which is quite funny. Like this one, for example. I like doing wall riding, if we can. So there isn't, like I said, there isn't too much to talk about with this one. But it is a fairly straightforward racing game, so... You're like, wait, I think you said there was wall riding. Not yet, but there will be. So this actually gets used as part of a different track. So there's an endurance race that we do later on, and the endurance race is what we'll be using wall riding on, things like that. But yeah, if anyone's got any questions regarding the game, by the way, feel free to just go ahead and ask. I'm open to answering a few questions, or just in general. For me, this is quite a casual run. There's not really like too much to it, unfortunately. There we go. Nice. That's your wall riding strap. But yeah, so like I said, there's like 13 races altogether. Nothing too much, but music's not too bad either. I mean, granted, it's not like on Char's. It's not on Char's level in my opinion. I think, and I'm not just saying this to side with everyone here, by the way. I'm just saying this for general sake. Like, I think Char has a great soundtrack. There are other soundtracks that I like more, but that's personal preference. I can't lie, Char has a great soundtrack. So yeah, much love to the Char community, by the way, and Probably usually leave this kind of stuff to the end, but thank you to the organisers and the Shark community for letting me be a part of this event. I have stressed in the past, I think last year as well, that I'm not so much a Shark community as I once was. Me personally, I think it was like 2014 and 15 roughly, but that's it. So, but many thanks, like I said, to the organisers and for the community being like very welcoming and everything like that. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I can't really say too much more other than that. But yeah, thank you very much, and yeah, allow me to be part of it. I'm glad I was able to make it as well. Like I don't think I was. I wasn't sure I was able to make it at one point for the marathon and everything. I was kind of wondering when it was going to be, and then it got announced. And even as it got like up until recently, I was like, wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it, but I'm glad that I'm able to make it at least. So this is our first endurance race, by the way. So the endurance races on here are 5-lap races, so they're a lot longer than the usual races that we do. So this one's about 4.5 minutes long. As you can see as well, we've got a fair bit of, like I said, there's a lot of driving. These games, I probably couldn't sell one if my life depended on it, but I can try, can't I? I can try. So, by the way, for those that are unsure about this, so I suppose I can give like a little like racing, not trivia, I guess, but a little bit like a bit of info. So obviously, as I mentioned, the car that we're using was the Mustang GTR concept. So this wasn't. It was released to the world, but it was only like like a Geneva motor show where they show off concept cars and things like that. Tokyo Motor Show, that kind of thing. This was determining what the next spec of Mustang was going to look like. Leading into the 2010s. I mean, how wrong they were, because let's be honest, the Mustang didn't change up until a couple of years ago. Well, it did change. It didn't change as drastic as everybody thought it would. But the funny thing is, so the Mustang GTR concept was actually in a variety of racing games, most notably Test Drive Unlimited for the PS2, Xbox, and so on. It has been in a couple of other racing games as well, but not as many as you think. I mean, it's unsurprisingly like it was in, it was in like this game and things. Obviously, it's Ford or Mustang, makes perfect sense. One game where I don't really recall it making much of an appearance is in Gran Turismo. Now, this is what baffles me a lot, because if you think about this, you're like, wait, are you sure? Like, I've not ever seen this in a Gran Turismo game. Any of them. Whether it's Gran Turismo concept or what. Which is quite surprising to me, because I mean, it's a concept car. Gran Turismo usually loves like concept cars and things like that. Normally. It's quite surprising to not hear that this isn't actually in there. So, yeah, it's a bit of an oddball. So we're nearly done with the New Orleans Endurance. Also, I presume we've got people here from the United States. Is that how you actually pronounce it? Is it New Orleans or New Orleans? How do you pronounce it? I'm intrigued. It's usually a divided field. It's like, is it potato or potato? You know, that sort of stuff, I guess. New Orleans. Okay, I can work with that. Gonna go with that. I suppose, does it depend on which part of the states you come from? I'm guessing. I don't know. Lynn, like pin. Oh, okay. New Orleans. Okay. So we got a gold split. Hog. That was a gold. I don't know how, but okay. Okay, so with New Orleans done, we now move on to Miami.
Select track.
So we've got Miami now. Now Miami is a 3-lap race, just like the rest of them, and it's a pretty long one. This one's actually a bit, well, I can't really remember too much. Is this one that's tricky? I can't remember. Might be. There's also a funny thing about the handling of this game, by the way. So, obviously, so I'm playing this on a 360 controller. Now, the way that this game handles is very interesting. It's very, I don't know, it's not simcade, that's not the right word for it. It's more arcade and a slight hint of sim, I guess. A slight hint of sim. But for the most part, it's arcade-ish. Say that, yeah. For the most part, it's arcade-ish, there we go. So it's very, I don't want to say Americanized, but it does feel very like that. I mean, if this game, so unsurprisingly, didn't sell too well. I think it was based more, I think I've said this before, but it's based mainly towards the American audience, because with Ford being the American car brand, it has obviously been aimed at that, but wasn't. So that's what I was saying. So the handling of this game is a very odd one. The reason why I find it very odd is because, so obviously the triggers are accelerate and brake. The gearbox is very odd. So gear up and gear down are very odd for me. I don't like it. So gear up is the Y button and gear down is the X button, which is weird. I'm used to A and X. Shift down's fine, but shift up is the main one. There we go. But in terms of the handling, like I said, you can use the analog stick if you wish to do so. But then you can also use the D-pad. I mean, there's nothing wrong with using the D-pad. I'm just saying, like, you can use the D-pad if you so desired. It's very odd. Like, Oh, hello. I don't actually know who's done the soundtrack. I'm pretty sure the soundtrack is just a dynamic soundtrack. I don't know what bands are in this, by the way. Again, I would take a stab. A lot of things in this game will obviously be like the music will all be American, bands American, and so on. And I'll be honest, I'm going to agree with Wolfie Heart here. I do think the soundtrack's pretty good. It's very odd, because for a racing game, most soundtracks are pretty decent, but, I mean, it depends on which game we're talking here. But, like, there are some decent racing games out there. I say decent racing, there are some race games out there with decent, you know, decent soundtracks. This one, for some reason, does stick out quite a bit. I actually got intrigued at one point. I was like, I'm pretty sure, like 100% sure, that the soundtrack has got to be on YouTube. So obviously I go straight on YouTube, and what I find, there it is. It's there, full playlist and everything, voila. Also, with Miami done, we're now moving on to Chicago. Chicago is actually one of my favourites. It provides a little bit of challenge. Not much of one, but a little bit of a challenge. Also, tell me this isn't out of an American Pie film. Pretty sure. A lot of the music actually does sound a bit like American Pie sort of music. So yeah, we've got Chicago. Next one is going to be Los Angeles. Also a bit of lag there, a bit of slowdown, but it's fine. Chicago's quite a fast race, to be fair. I mean, it is in this car. Oh my god. weird thing is though, with like how traffic spawns as well, you'll usually see the headlights coming at you pretty quick, rather than the actual car itself. Whoa. Hello. Whoa. Also, with it being Christmas as well, or getting there, a couple of weeks to go. I've never. Do you know what? This is the thing is that it wasn't this game that made me want to go to Chicago. Like I actually have it on my bucket list to go to it. I know it's like bizarre, isn't it? It's like, wait, you want to go to Chicago? Why? A lot of people like don't, or there's not much to see there. I'm like, no, I want to go to Chicago. Driver 2 makes me want to go places. It's weird. I don't know. Like video games. You know. Video games are what make me want to go and travel places. I mean, I've been... Obviously went to Los Angeles. I think a lot of people have been there. Or just drove through it even if you've been to the States. But when I went in 2014, it's quite a few years ago. It was very odd because we went and I was like, you know, we've been to Los Angeles, and it was just so odd because it was like, it felt like real life GTA 5. It was very odd. But like me with Chicago, it was like I wanted to
Select track.
you know, it was like Driver 2. I was like, yeah, I want to go to Chicago. I want to go to Havana. I want to go Vegas. There's places that I want to go.
3, 2, 1,
I mean, will I ever get to go there? I don't know. Maybe. Also, this is Los Angeles. You can easily tell we're in Los Angeles because we're already starting on that freeway that runs past the beach. Oh, very similar. I think that I'm not going to say that these are all based off the actual ones, by the way. They're not based off the real places much. I'm pretty sure these streets don't exist in LA. Not from my memory, anyway. Obviously, you've got to make a street circuit. If this was LA, the streets would look like, the tracks would be like something out of a GTA game. They're trying to make it as accurate as possible, I guess, but even then, it's like, it's still a bit far out. It's like, we need to make a racing game. We're going to set it in Chicago and Los Angeles and all that, and I'm like, oh, cool, I guess. Yeah, very strange. Very strange. But they tried their best. Also, the Los Angeles Endurance is quite a long one. It's 5 and a bit minutes. The reason I picked this up... Oh, hello. He was in my way, so I thought I'd give him a nudge. The reason I picked this game up in the first place was because I found out that... So I was looking through just listed backwards compatible Xbox games, and I saw that this game was for sale. And I was like, oh, that looks pretty neat. And I was like, wait, is this backwards compatible? So I had a look and I was like, oh my god, this is backwards compatible. Unsurprisingly, I watched a bit of gameplay to see what it was like. I was like, this looks pretty bad. Like, not very well made or very short game or whatever. If someone had done like a playthrough of it and I was like, oh my god, this looks so bad. Anyway, time goes on. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy this. Why not? So I ended up picking it up. I don't remember it being expensive. I think it was cheap to pick up. Yeah, it was relatively cheap to pick up. So I was like, neat. So yeah, there you go. Just kind of bopping my head to the soundtrack. It's like, yeah. Also, Call me stupid, but some of these streets feel very similar to that out of Need for Speed Undercover. I'm getting a very Need for Speed Undercover vibe from this game through Los Angeles. Mainly through Los Angeles, actually. Not through anything else. I know what people are thinking. Wait a minute. So there's a 40-minute estimate, and he's about, what, halfway through the tracks? Yeah, trust me. It's because they go a lot more, they get a lot shorter, trust me. Even the endurance at the end, so we do have an endurance that we finish out at, which is New York City, which obviously we've already done, but it's a different layout. You'll get to see the different layout. But yeah, that endurance is like a 3-minute endurance, if that. I see Wolfie's sided with the whole Need for Speed argument. It's not just me then. I'm glad to know that. That's always a fun one. Nice to know. Speaking of Need for Speed, I don't know if this is any consolation, but I recently did a run of Need for Speed Most Wanted on the Nintendo DS. That's 3 hours of my life I'm never getting back. Oh, dear. Yeah, I actually went there. It was like, I've wanted to speedrun this game for ages. The game was actually beatable and playable on an emulator, so I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. And now I'm already looking at going back to the Game Boy Advance version. God have mercy on my soul. And everything of all things holy. Also, nearly at the end. Ooh. Okay, that's fine. It was in my way, and there was a gap that was closing. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Nice. Okay, good stuff. Next one is back. We're going back to Long Beach. So you remember the first race that we did? That was at Long Beach. This is the second Long Beach race. Long Beach 2 is a reverse track. So we're going to be doing the whole race, but backwards. Yeah. Well, almost. Only kidding. Of course we're not going to do it backwards. We're going to do a different layout. So this has got 2 different layouts. You can see now that we're going to go a different way. Like that. So the professional part of the game, by the way, so obviously we're doing the normal, or the amateur league, should we say, which is enough to finish the career mode. And then you get the professional side. Professional is different because professional has the tracks reversed and different routes again. It's certainly somewhat. I mean, they had to do something different to change the game, right? It's like, yeah, we need to change the game up a bit. Let's change the game up a bit. How are we gonna do that? Oh, I know. Let's do that. Yeah, that sounds like a cool idea. The funny thing is, now I've actually had to try and like double check, but my copy of Ford Mustang has a WWE sticker on it. I was like, oh, maybe it has a tie-in with WWE somehow, maybe sponsorship. Nope, somebody stuck a WWE verified sticker on my cover. So yeah, there's a laugh of the day. You know when people randomly stick stickers on your game, you're like, grr. Same thing. We're nearly at the end of this one. That's Long Beach done. Like I said, these races should go a bit quicker now. Close enough. Now we've got 3 races to go. Remember, what was it? New Orleans? Orleans? Yeah, we're doing that again. Doing a different route this time. Then we do San Francisco, do another race there, and then we're gonna do New York City Endurance. And then we're done. So we've got like about 12 minutes, but we should be done in about 8 or 9. Thereabouts. Unfortunately, I'm afraid it probably will be a PB, so I do apologise, but oh well. Kind of try my best. By the way, if the host would like to plug the charity or anything like that, feel free to go ahead. Always got time for that.
Of course, not a problem. Well, we are raising money for Save the Children, an amazing charity which we do really, really appreciate here in the SHARCOM community.
Lap complete.
And all these amazing all these amazing events are happening to raise money for Save the Children. We do recently have coming up, if I do remember correctly, we have Sims coming up after this. We do have then Muppets Race Mania at 11 p.m. GMT, and It Takes Two, which all of them are going to be great for the remainder of the day here. And we have a packed day tomorrow and December the 4th.
I think a lot of people have their personal favourite runs coming up. Has anyone got any particular favourites that they've already seen, or any looking forward to coming up? That's always a good discussion to have. Everyone's got personal favourites, so.
I don't know about you, but I'm very much looking forward to the Muppets Race Mania. Great game, definitely a classic.
I've never seen Muppets Race Mania. Someone tells me it's a Mario. I don't know if it's a Mario Kart ripoff, but a kart racing game of some kind.
You are in for an absolute treat. Definitely a must-watch.
Recently got into the force of like trying to learn new games that are not all racing. Like for example, I'm trying to learn. Well, looking at trying to learn like a Crackdown game or like a Crackdown game or Stuart Little or something like that.
Select
So
track.
I believe as well. I maybe apologies if I'm a bit oblivious to this, but was there a Crackdown run earlier today, or is it coming up?
2, 1, go.
What do you mean? If you don't mind me asking.
I think it's there we go. Crazy Tone Dog's running Crackdown, I believe.
Oh yeah, my bad.
I mean, any of the
Yeah.
Crackdown games will do for me. I'm more of a fan of the second one than the first,
Yeah.
but that again, personal preference. I'm sure I've seen Crackdown on the schedule somewhere. I have to admit something. I'll just admit this on stream right now. So I finished like all the Crackdown games. The one that sold me the least was the first one. I know that's probably asking for trouble, but that was the one that sold me the least. However, the speedruns look crazy. I've seen, and just to think, I was like, I'll wait till you see the run. I'm like, I've seen a run. I've not seen a live run though. I'll try and be around for it tomorrow if I can. I know that's one that caught my eye straight away, so. Don't Dog, there you go. At least I'll try and catch it if I can. I know I've got a lot on this weekend myself. Yeah, best of luck to all the runners, by the way, because I know we've not got long left for this run. We've got literally just this one we got this race and then the next one, then we're done. So we haven't got much left. I was gonna say, yeah. You know, best of luck to all runners, and well done to all those that have done runs so far. Hope your runs all went okay. What's this song? Banging. I'm not kidding, we were talking about the song selection before. Yeah, we're getting near the end of it. I'm surprised how quick this mind you. Then again, when you see, that's another thing. When you do the endurance races, these races feel like they go dead quick. It's very strange. I don't know. Okay, so with that out of the way, we now move on to our final race, which is the New York City Endurance. And that will be our final race in the game. So, there we go.
Select
Yeah, so this is going to be our final race in the game and of the run. Time is going to be when I cross the finish line. So, I'll probably shout it out. This race is about 3 minutes long, there or thereabouts. Well, about as close to 3 minutes as you can get. Also, this route is entirely different as well, surprisingly enough. Ooh, okay. Steady on, easy on. See how we get on with the final one. I remember when I did a run with this car the first time, I was like, wow, okay, this car's really quick. Still really quick now. Like, nothing's changed, I'm just saying, like, out loud, it's weird. Been looking at playing through other games as well. That was another one. Looking at playing through the first Harry Potter game on PS1. Oh, that's a speed run to behold. That was about well, just like a quick raise of hands, quick show of hands. How many people here have played Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets? Not Chamber of Secrets. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone or Sorcerer's Stone for the PlayStation 1. Just the PS1, not the PC or anything. Just the PS1. Curious.
I actually say I grew up with that game.
Yeah, I'm not the only one. Haha. I still got my copy. It's at home somewhere.
I've still got mine. I have all the Harry Potter games for the consoles.
Weirdly enough, I don't know why I never really got sold on the other Harry Potter games. I've watched the films. I've never read the books though. It's a bit of an oddball because it was like I went to the studio. I think it is. It's in London, just outside of London. The Warner Brothers Studios sort of thing you can do.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind when I was walking through like Gringotts Bank. I was like, oh my god, this is like being in the film. It's weird to say that, you know. I felt like a big kid.
Nothing wrong with that.
It was just one of them moments where you literally believe, like, wow, I'm literally reliving my childhood from when I was like 5 or 6, you know. To just remember thinking, whoa, Gringotts Bank, and then when I walked in, I'm like, I'm 25, you know, and I'm walking in this Gringotts Bank, and Mum's like, how old are you? And I'm like, yeah. Also, time is coming up pretty quick, and there it is, and time.
First place.
And that is it for that run. Like I said, so there is a second part of the career mode. There's two parts. There's an amateur and a professional.
Select track.
So if I go back, you can see there's various Mustangs here. I mean, I could go through them all day. Obviously, you can go like forward in time. So you got like the next generation Mustangs. why these were classed as a Mustang, I don't know. You can tell these were from the 80s. They look more like a foreground Victoria than anything else. Then you have like the proper Mustang, I'll call one. The proper Mustang. The next one's up, anyway. 35th edition, then you had like the FR 500, which was in Ford Racing 3 and maybe in Ford Racing 2. SVT Mustang Cobra R, famously seen in Gran Turismo 3. I don't know if it was in 2. It was in a lot of the Gran Turismo games, I believe. There's a V10 Mustang, which is something else. And then now you've got GT Coupe concept. That's actually available from the start of the game, so you use that car pretty much for the most part for all the game. And you obviously have like the more modern Mustangs. You can see there's a pattern forming here. There's your Mustang Coupe. I think a lot of people recognise that one. There you go. Mustang GT Coupe, and then obviously the GTR concept, which was supposed to be like what the next generation was going to be. Although that came out before the Mustang GT Coupe, so yeah, you can see it's a lot like older generation. But yeah, so amateur and professional. Professional are basically the same races but backwards. Career mode will take you about thereabouts about I don't know, like maybe about an hour and a bit. So yeah, there you go. So you get style awards as well with all the points that you collect. But yeah, that's kind of going to be it. I've literally said, I think, everything I need to say. That wasn't too bad of a run either. I was expecting it to go a tiny bit worse, but it didn't. So that's all good. It's only 18 seconds behind PB, so that's nice. But yeah, thank you very much to the organisers and the Shark community for putting on this event and for having me. Really appreciate that. I've got to shoot off, unfortunately, make a hasty exit, but thank you very much for having me for both Driver and for this. Much love to the Shark community, as always. Roll on the next event, whenever it may be. I'll try and participate in that if I can, or submit for that, should I say. And then, yeah, that'll be just about it. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll throw it back over to the host. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for participating, Viper. Pleasure to have you as always. Thank you everyone for coming in. We're going to go to a quick intermission. We will be then back promptly with The Sims, with Wolfie and Falco. And could only just say thanks again for running, Viper. Pleasure having you here at the marathon.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Alright, we're going to go to a short intermission and we will be back.